I know how heavy that phone can get, but I promise you it gets easier, and it got a lot easier for me the more successful that I was at it, because that builds confidence, right? So you want to be successful right out of the gate. Hey, what's up guys? Brad Hannon here. I want to tell you about my first 5 years in the insurance industry. We're currently in year 5, and sometimes it helps to know the destination. Actually, I shouldn't say sometimes, all the time it helps to know the destination, right, that you're heading, but in order to chart the course, right? Imagine picking up your GPS, not plugging in an address and trying to request that thing to tell you where to go. It doesn't know where you're going, right? And so if you want to be successful in this, I want to kind of give you what my first 5 years have been, because according to the industry standards, this isn't myself, because I think we all fall short of what we really want, and that's okay. We're learning in the process. But so I don't by any means consider myself the number one success or the best out there, just somebody that's been successful in this industry according to industry metrics and things, right? So this is what my first 5 years in the insurance industries look like. My first year was just figuring it out, a lot like maybe many of you guys, where you don't know what you don't know. You're being told so many different things. We're in this information era where the internet is just loaded with information. Another one of the reasons why I started this and wanted to get you good information, because one of the things about myself and what we've built collectively as a team is simply the fact that it's duplicatable, right? We don't have any secret sauce. We don't have any special leads. We don't have any special programs. In fact, my agents would argue that we don't have enough programs at all, like contests and bonuses and things like that. We do plenty. We have a blast, but it's not based on those things. It's not based on anything that you can't go out and do and create yourself. And so in this information era, I want to be able to provide that for you. So my first year, I was a solo producer, just trying to figure it out, a lot like many of you guys watching this. That year I really was learning sales as well, because I hadn't been in a sales environment, but I did know that they told me that I had no cap, right? I came from construction background. I was literally digging ditches. I mean, I've worked in sewer manholes. I was literally digging ditches. I did site work, and I went from that into a sales role, which was very out of the ordinary for me. I remember making my first phone calls. There was other people around. I know what that first call fear feels like. I know how heavy that phone can get, but I promise you it gets easier, and it got a lot easier for me the more successful that I was at it, because that builds confidence, right? So you want to be successful right out of the gate. My first year, I would say, was a success. It kept me in the industry. Here I am today. I made $76,000 my first year. I think that wasn't a full calendar year, but that was just a solo producer. I didn't build a team. I was kind of entry level with a captive agency, and I did okay, right? There was people around me that were killing it, making $120,000, $150,000 in their first year. I made $76,000. I felt really good about it. My first year, I was learning from everybody, right? Those beneath me, those above me, those beside me. I was learning from everybody that I could, right? I didn't just because this person, right, doesn't maybe sell a whole lot, or is not like your cup of tea, if you will, doesn't mean you can't learn something from that person. So I was learning from everybody, and I really figured out that, in this business, it really is, you get 10 times as much out of it as you put into it. And so as I began to put more and more into it, I realized it was a sacrifice, right? I was sacrificing a lot of my time to build that residual income so that I could have that time later on down the road. Now with a family, I'm super thankful that I did that. But first year, $76,000, really just kind of figuring out how to set appointments, how to run appointments. I was getting into my flow with like a presentation. Later on, I want to post a video on how I present insurance, because I've really been presenting it the same way almost for 5 years, with minor tweaks and things, different plans, of course, and it just really hasn't changed. There's only a few things you need to cover. So I was really getting my feet wet with my presentations, all that stuff, and again, learning from everybody. That second year is when things started to change for me. It really started to click. And That second year, I made $280,000. Right, that was considered, especially in my family, a very large success. I was blown away by that. Of course, it gets to your head a little bit, probably, right? I mean, one thing about money is it does change people. I'm thankful that I didn't come from a lot of money, so it's like it's not about the money for me. It's more so about the journey to success and putting in the work and getting those results and feeling better about yourself, feeling confident. And so that second year was a game changer for me. I really believed that there was no ceiling anymore, right? They tell you there's no ceiling in insurance. You can make as much money as you want. And it's like, yeah, well, I want to make $1 million and I'm not making it yet. But that year showed me that, hey, I can get to that with just some time and effort. In just a couple years, I built a $250,000 income, right? So you can imagine the blow that it was to have kind of had a falling out with that agency. Everything is kosher now, all good, no hard feelings. I'm thankful for everything that's happened to me or happened, because of me, right? Because things don't happen to us, they happen because of us. And so that third year, I had to restart, right? I just went from like 76,000, tripled my income to 280,000. Doing really well. We're looking at houses, things like that, and then boom. Back to zero. I was planning a wedding. There was a lot of things going on that year, and boom, back to zero that third year, right? That third year was the year that I told my wife, I'm getting a real estate license. I'm getting into some other kind of sales. And insurance is just full of, for lack of a better term, people that aren't looking out for your best interests, we'll just say, right? And that's what I felt. I'm not saying that's what the insurance industry is. So if you're new to insurance, you're like, oh, great, I'm getting into an industry full of scumbags. No, it's okay. There's great people in this industry, but you've got to make sure that you're kind of, aware of the fact that, yeah, certainly, just like any other industry, there's some bad eggs. That's all. So that third year really kind of half in, right? Just trying to pay my bills. I knew it was October of, a couple years back. It was October of that year, which, as you know, was leading into open enrollment. Open enrollment is the busiest time of the year where we can make, a third of our income in a few months. And so that year, challenged me. I told my wife, I'm working through open enrollment and then I'm out of this industry. I'm done, right? I don't care to learn this company. I don't care to be a part of the culture. I don't care for any of that stuff. I just want to make my money, get out of there, pay the bills, pay off the wedding that we've got coming up, all of this stuff. I didn't have a choice but to stay working, right? And so that year was really tough. That few months is what it took to really get out of that. So obviously I'm still here. I'm still in the industry. I didn't drop out of the industry that year, but that was a challenging year. And so I'm here to tell you one thing. Is where you're at right now. It could certainly change, but what you're learning along the way will help you build it twice as fast in the future, right? I think about the Wolf of Wall Street, Jordan Belfort. Got a chance to meet him at 8% Nation, and I think about his story. Man, he went to prison for a little while, came out and started killing it all over again, because all the while he learned so many lessons that he fast tracked his way to success again, right? So it's like, all of that failure, all of that, kind of bad things that happened, it taught me enough to be able to rebuild really quickly. So by January, I was convinced that I wasn't going anywhere. This industry is for me. I just can't do it alone, right? That was the year that I really started to understand and not take for granted doing this with a team, doing this with people around you, doing this with people that have your back, whether they're a part of your agency or not. Some of my best friends in the industry don't even sell health insurance. A lot of them are selling Medicare or final expense or whatever that might be, but they understand what you're going through. They understand, the industry enough to have your back when you need it. And so that fourth year, all right, so third year, back to selling. I made $110,000 that year. If you remember, my first year at the other company was $76,000. So, a good increase. That was a lot better. But the year previous, I made $280,000. So that was a huge pay cut. But I got back current on taxes. I got, everything. I caught up to speed. So I felt really good. Felt like I was in a place where I could start to build a team again, right? That's a really important thing, is to be able to chart the way for your team, right? If you want to be a leader in this industry, not an upline, okay? Because there's a lot of uplines that aren't leaders, right? If you want to be a leader in this industry, you have to go through the course, right? Like there's no fast track. You can't get right into building a team. Oftentimes I see very, very new producers trying to build a team the next, week after they wrote their first policy. And that's really difficult to do because how do you show them the way? You haven't made it to success, right? Or some version of success. You had some small wins, but you didn't really chart the territory. And so a leader has to go out in front and chart the territory. So if you're not, going through that yourself, obviously, it would be hard to get anybody else to do. So I've never asked anybody on my team to do anything that I'm not willing to do or currently doing myself, right? So started to rebuild a team, knew that I couldn't do it alone. Got some good people in my corner. We leased a small office space here in Sarasota, Florida. I had some virtual agents. We grew, I think we did probably about 5 million that fourth year. And it was with a company called Healthcare Solutions Team, still a company that I'm partnered with. They support me in every way. And so really started to rebuild a team that fourth year. Went from 110 grand to, back up over 300,000 where I was before. And so imagine doing something once, right? You feel like, okay, yeah, I could probably do that again, right? Like you do it once and now it's possible, right? My man brings in a Galaga machine. Justin Brock sends me a text that his high score is 177,000. Meanwhile, I'm trying to break 50,000. Okay, but now that I know what's possible, right? Now that I know what's possible by somebody else, I know that I can do that too. So I'm going to be trying to do that. But the point is that second year that second time that I did that, it gave me the confidence to know that, hey, I can go back to zero again. Like whatever I've got to do, I will be successful because I know the lessons that I learned. And there's been plenty of failures, just as many as successes as there have been failures, right? Obviously, slightly more successes than there have been failures. But the point is that I've done it twice now. I did it twice, and that gave me the confidence to really know that, hey man, there's no ceiling to this. And so that's where I come from. That's where I'm coming from, a place of, hey, if I can do it, I know you can do it. If I can do it twice, I know you can do it once, and hopefully not screw it up like I did, right? I can help you not make some of the same mistakes that I've made. We can help you fast track. Like I said, this is the information era. There's no real reason that we should be failing over and over again and not asking for help. So do it with a team. Do it with a group of people that can support you, whether they're involved in your agency or not. Get connected with people, listen to their stories, and learn from everybody. I talked about it earlier on. Learn from everybody, those above you, those beneath you, right? You might learn what not to do. You might even learn what to do sometimes. And then those beside you, those that are running alongside of you or locked arms with you. Learn from everybody because that's the fastest way to grow, right? You need new information to grow, and you get new information through learning. So now we're in year 5. So fast forward, we're in year 5, technically, really going into year 6. But year 5 has been about branding. Branding myself, branding the agency, getting out there in the digital space. This is, again, the information era. We've got to be able to provide content. And so I want you to be able to think right now in year 1, right? I don't know if you're in your 6th month as an agent or day 1, right? I want you to think that everything you're doing is a part of your journey that you can one day share with somebody else. So remember, you're charting the territory for your future team. That's the reason why you need to put in the work. That's the reason why you need to put in the effort, is so that down the road you can say, hey, listen, I did this, this, and this. This is why I'm successful. I know that if you do the same things, you can have similar results, right? So hope you enjoyed that. That's a little bit of my story. If this has provided you some value, I want you to like and subscribe below. We're really going to grow this. We're going to have a fun time doing it. Just going to share information from my failures, from my successes, from my personal story, and hey, we might get a little deep, we might get a little heavy sometimes, but that's okay, because that is real, and that's what I want to come through to you, is just real, honest, sincere, somebody that wants to help and help grow your business. All right, guys, thanks for watching. I hope you gained something from this. Our goal is to provide value in the individual under 65 health insurance space. If you did get something on this, then make sure you like and subscribe below. Be a part of what we're growing here on YouTube with Health Insurance Hustlers.